What's up, Yankees universe? KOD Nation, stand up, and all you D-gents, wake up and get your coffee. Welcome to another great episode of the Yankees Morning Brew. It's done. Aaron Judge, history has been made. Anxiety has been lifted. The last 3 hair follicles I have on my head has finally fallen off because Aaron Judge hit number 62, number 99 with number 62. And of course, we had to reach out to a friend of ours. He's a friend of ours, so he's a friend of yours. My man Pete Simonetti will be joining us for the conversation. I just want to quickly shout out the chat. Mikey Mazza and the 4 Train Express. What it do? Salute, salute, salute. 3 capital S's. Jiggle Man Portal, how we doing? And yo, guys, did you guys, besides the Yankees, right? Did you guys see the Knicks last night? You know, I know this is a Yankees show, right? But Judge hitting number 62, the Knicks winning the first preseason last night, and of course, the New York Giants starting the season 3-1. Everything's going good so far. Everything's going good so far. My man Jiggleman Portal, how you doing? But let me bring my man Pete in. We could break this down. Pinstripe Chronicles is in the building. What's good, my man Tat? What it do, baby? But yeah, of course, the one and only PDE. What is good, bro?
What's going on, man? I tell you what, you guys know I got my music background career. So that intro, that little guitar riff, come on now, man.
Yeah,
That's
definitely,
stupid,
definitely.
Man. I love it.
Definitely.
I love it.
One of these days we got to team up for a quick 16 back and forth, you and myself.
Yeah, no
one
doubt.
of these days,
No
but we got to save that for the after show, you know.
No doubt about it. That's the way it goes, man. Got some nice news going on, man. Yankees, you're right. You know what? I felt like I was aging a little bit, man. I get tired every day. Judge not doing this. I'm starting to get angry with him.
I'm starting to feel bad for his moms, you know, and his pops,
right.
because
they're traveling everywhere with this dude.
Exactly. No, knowing the person that Aaron Judge is, right, just from his personality, what we see as fans, you could tell that it was probably eating at him to have his moms and his pops and people having to travel back and forth from one part of the country to another part of the country, damn near to Toronto, back over to Texas, you know. So you know it was probably getting to him, and thank God he finally got it over with. He got it over with. Enjoy the last day and just get ready for the postseason.
Yeah, man, and that first AB too. I mean, that first at bat, like once you see that Aaron Judge swing and that connection, you're like, all right, there it is. Like there it goes, man. And I tell you what, like there was just I remember 98. I remember 98 very, very clear. Mm-hmm. So I remember Sosa, McGuire. Honestly, to this day, 2 of my favorite ball players of all time. Just because, you know, that's probably one of my greatest memories of my father is watching that 98 season. And of course, the Yankees that year were phenomenal, but there's something about the home run, man. There's something about the home run. And seeing a guy like Judge do it, that ball go in the air, seeing everything about it, just rewatching it a couple of times, man. The hair stand up every single time. It's kind of cool too, because it's like it's a Yankee record, man. You know what I mean? It's like 3 times it's been broken. It's like, all right, it's all Yankees, no problem. Keep it going.
Then and as a content creator yourself, you know, you've been doing this longer than I have, but you as a content creator, you're part of history now, Pete. Like you called it on your show, so that right there, it stays and it travels through history. Like you literally are a part of history. And has it hit you yet? Like, has it hit you that you was able to call 62? Granted, you know, you're Pete Simonetti or whatever, you're not Michael K, but at the same time, you will get there one day. But has it hit you yet that you was able as a Yankee content creator to call that call?
Yeah, it's cool, man. In the first year of actually, you know, calling just about every single game, I always say it. I mean, I don't know many other people who's called more games than I have this year, and that's not even, you know, at the end of the day, that's factual. That's not even like, hey, look at me, everybody. Hey, I'm doing this, you know. But when you do it in the moment and you recognize all that, yeah, it does feel very different. It feels very different. I remember after I called it, I told everybody that was in the chat, I'm like, I don't even remember what my call was. And then my fiance who had it already going, she sent it to me and I played it in between like one of the innings later. And I was like, oh man, that's pretty friggin' cool. Like we put it up with the home run call and all that and actual homer and my call. And I'm like, that's actually pretty friggin' cool. So like you said before, it'll stand for a very, very long time, hopefully. And, you know, I hope further down the line when, hopefully, knock on wood, when Aaron Judge returns and comes back and maybe he has another 60 homer season, we can look back on it and, man, I remember that call. And, you know, it's just fun. But you do feel it. You do feel it much more. Like, it's a definitely for me personally, professionally, it's a different feeling than just sitting back and watching the game. You know what I mean? I think I would have reacted the same way, went crazy, but
Mm-hmm.
actually having to call it in the moment is pretty a cool experience.
And shout out to Jira, man, because
Yeah.
she's top moderator, always on point, especially with the clips, cutting things back and forth.
Yep.
I don't think there's anybody in the game, probably Jamie from Joe Rogan, but besides that, I think Jira, she has that locked down.
She probably doesn't know who he is because I watch Joe Rogan, but I don't think she
Yeah.
does much. But that's hot. That's very high praise. That's very high praise. That is some big high praise right there.
No, honestly, you guys have been killing it all season. Like I said, I've watched you when it was originally the Pete Simonetti channel before you made the transition to NYY News, and from 2019 till now, your content has been you've been hitting it. Especially with the hot takes, but with the calls, I think that's where you find your niche because it shows more of your personality.
Yeah.
And dog, I literally had to rewatch like your stream from last night 3 different times from the beginning because I'm not sure about you. I don't think any of us was really expecting it to happen in the first AB of last night's game.
I did, and it shocked me. If you see my reaction, I'm like my eyes got really big. Oh shit! Like, and it's funny because everybody always asks me like, Pete, well, do you script anything? I'm like, but no, I can't do that because that's the one thing. Like I always tell people, I'm like, look, it's very, and I'm not saying this is fake to script it. You can script whatever you want. If it works for you, it does. But scripting doesn't work for me. I'm not a scripting guy. I've never been. Even when I make videos about statistics, I don't script it. So sometimes I might pull up like, all right, my big screen, these are the numbers. But I can't do it because I'm one of those guys where I stick to this all the time. I say, look, being fake is very, very hard. And for me, being scripted to me is way too hard. I can't go in that moment and go, okay, all right, home run. All right, you know what I mean? It's like, okay, we gotta start again. I'm like, nah, I'm not on stage. I'm not doing a play here. Like, so whatever comes out, comes out. And I tell you what, I even look back at the call again, and I watched it myself, and I'm like, you know what? I am very, very happy with that call because there's a couple of the easy nuggets there, right? There's the 61 years since 61. I'm like, all right, that's easy. You know you're going to mention that. But the one thing I really liked about the call that I said was that it's still connected to the New York Yankees. And I didn't even think about saying it. Just when I thought of Babe Ruth, Roger Maris, like, oh, and still connected to the New York Yankees. It's just it's just cool, man. Like I said, I mean, it's like you said before, you kind of see the most of me out there. And, some people probably see it as, man, this guy's nuts. He's always screaming and all that. But it's just me being, it's just me being a Yankee fan. It's who I am. I love this team. I live and die with this team, man. And the emotions get out there. They get out there. I let it ride.
You can't be you can't hold back the emotions. It defines who you are, especially as a Yankee fan, and especially as Mustache Pete. You literally have the emotions, and you wear them on your sleeves, fam. And that's one thing I could say that I really fell in love with you as somebody watching from that alone, because I'm from New York. I'm from the Bronx. I'm from Brooklyn. I my emotions, we have it on our sleeves. Somebody cuts us off in traffic, we're ready to curse them out. Like it's over. I can't. There's one thing I say I can't stand. I can't stand people who double park in traffic, and I can't stand traffic cops. Right? Those are the two things that I can't stand in my life. But as a New Yorker, you wear your emotions on your sleeve. Yeah. Regardless if you're a Met fan, regardless if you're a Yankee fan, that's why the Brooklyn Dodgers, when they were here, the Brooklyn Dodgers fans call them our bums, the Brooklyn bums. You can't be from outside of the city calling the Dodgers the bums. Those are our bums. Those ain't your bums. So it just goes with the culture. And it's been the same thing for years and years and years, especially as a Yankee fan.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I love that you said that. You're right. Throughout life, I've actually even struggled with that. It's like, all right, is there times where you kind of dial back and let your emotions kind of play out? But you're right. As New Yorkers, I think it's just something that we, not necessarily we struggle with. It's just who we are. Like this, it's the constant grind of life. It's like, even moving away from the city, I'm like, I still have that. That. I can't get rid of that. That's never going to leave me. It's never going to leave me. Because the great thing about it is once you get back to New York, you lock right back in. So it's like, you don't get no adjustment. Once I hit the Jersey Turnpike, I'm like, all right, New York time. Let's go. Like, you're right. It's like the cut all that stuff. It's like you're just right back in that mode. And, I always say, and it's not even a bias towards New Yorkers, but we're just a different breed, man. We're a different breed. New Yorkers are a different breed.
Exactly. And this is not to downplay any other city or whatever, but it's New York City is its own ethos, right? It's
Oh, no
literally
doubt.
it's its own little country or its own
Yeah.
little island. And I've been to California, Texas, different parts or whatever, and just everybody's just fascinated. Oh my God, you're from New York City?
Yep.
Oh
Yep.
my God, you're from
Yep.
Brooklyn? Oh my God, you've been to the Bronx? Oh my God, you saw X,
Yep.
Y, and enter any mafia movie from the 80s, and they will ask you if you've seen it or not.
Yeah. It's funny because when I first when I first moved to Virginia a few years ago, my friends in New York would be like, "Man, like, do like the cows wake you up?" I'm like, "No, I'm in Richmond. I have no damn cows outside. What are you talking about?" But then I'd have people from here be like, "Is the Bronx really that bad? Like, is this happening every day?" And I look at them, and one person, I don't know if they got offended. I'm like, "Well, I saw the movie Wrong Turn. Does that shit happen here? Am I gonna walk outside and get struck with a bow and arrow? I mean, like, what are we doing? I mean, the same. I've seen your movies when cats go on a dirt road and they end up meals that day. So
Exactly.
I'm like, nah, it's not like that. You don't walk in the Bronx and get immediately shot in the head. I mean, come on, take it easy."
Yeah, it's just because you saw the Warriors when you was in junior high school doesn't mean that represents New York City.
Facts. Facts. Nah, New York ain't the 1980s. Calm down, take it easy.
Exactly. But now that the Yankees have, everything's out the way, Judge got 62.
Yeah.
Garrett Cole as well made history last night with the strikeout, even though he's not having the greatest season of a Garrett Cole, you could say, type pitcher, but he did make history. Ron Guidry called him last night and congratulated him as well. What's your thoughts when it comes to Garrett Cole and the season he's having and the record he set last night?
Yeah, I mean, the record is amazing. I mean, I don't care what anybody says. You could, and I said it last night when he broke it. I said, no matter what you want to say about Garrett Cole's season, he's a dominating strikeout pitcher. It's that simple, and he's gonna give up home runs. It's gonna happen. He's always gonna give up home runs. I always say he's a lot like the sense of guys like Robbie Ray. They work off the fastball. They're gonna give them up. They're gonna give home runs up. It's gonna happen. But Garrett Cole's season overall. I think his ERA is still above 3.5. Definitely not what you want from a guy you're paying $36 million a year. It's not what you want at all. I mean, you want Garrett Cole to be the guy that you saw that last year in Houston. He's never really been that guy with the Yankees. But I tell you, the one awesome thing about Yankee fans in general is Garrett Cole has a complete chance to just reset now. If Garrett Cole ever leads this team to the postseason, nobody's going to bring up, oh, he had a up and down season, and there was times where we were talking about starting Nestor over him, and there was this, there was that. Everybody's gonna sit back and be like, "Hey, man, he earned it. He earned it. I don't care what that regular is. He earned it. He was the guy when we needed him to be, and it's that simple. There is no question about it. That's the man." So it's an amazing accomplishment. I mean, I don't want to say unfortunately, but fortunately or unfortunately, he did it the same day Judge breaks the American League home run record. So it's kind of like, cool, you guys both did it, but, Aaron Judge is like, man, guys, can't say nothing bad about him. Like Garrett, a lot of us aren't too happy with this year, but
yeah,
it's a phenomenal record to break, man. It really is. It's a great record to break, and I think the Yankees go as far as Garrett Cole takes them. To be honest with you.
And a big takeaway for me when it comes to the record, I think they said it on the announcement last night, is that when Ron Guidry set the strikeout record, he pitched like, I think, over 250 innings, 260 innings, something like that.
Yeah.
When Garrett Cole did it in just above 200 innings.
Yeah, that's right.
So he did it in far less, like 50 less innings than Ron Guidry. I know this day and age, everybody strikes out and the strikeout is okay in baseball, but still, to do it in 200 innings instead of 250, 260, you got to tip your hat off to him. Like you said, he's phenomenal. Strikeout pitcher. Yeah, he's a strikeout pitcher, and when the postseason comes around, normally those are the pitchers that shine in the postseason.
That's right.
The finesse pitchers are the ones that struggle. Greg Maddux always struggled in the postseason, but when it comes to strikeout pitchers, all they need is just one start to just rewrite the entire season.
Yeah, no doubt about it. You're 100% right, and that's why I said you can't. You know who Garrett Cole is, right? The thing with Garrett Cole is his mental aspect is, I think, the only thing that you could really question about him. If you watch Garrett Cole, you go, well, the stuff is there. I mean, there's no denying that. Now, I do know there's going to be people that, including myself, that bring up, well, what was the difference in the Spide Attack? Did it make a difference? The only thing I look at when it comes to Spide Attack is I don't look at, oh, well, his spin rate is different. No, his spin rate's actually good, and sometimes some pitches even better than what it was. The issue, I think, with Garrett Cole, and this is, again, I don't know if this is Spide Attack. I have no idea about that. I'm just saying what I've observed. the fastball command isn't as dot as it used to be. He used to be able to dot inside outside like that. So it was like, well, it's hard to hit the fastball, so you gotta hope you guess on the off speed, and you couldn't. It's too good. It's too good still. So I know Spider Tag makes your command a lot more pinpoint because it's so much. You got a better grip of the ball. It's much easier to dot the ball. That's the only thing I see with Garrett Cole this year where I'm like, when he has that 0-2, he falls a lot to 3-2. He falls, falls off a little bit because he can't command that fastball the way he usually wants to. And that is a concern for me going forward. But at the end of the day, I mean, Garrett Cole has been a phenomenal pitcher for years now. Again, going back to what I said earlier, has he been the guy that the Yankees have wanted him to be when it comes to what he was in that last year with Houston? We probably will never see Garrett Cole have a year like that again, to be honest. But if he wins a World Series with the Yankees, let me tell you right now, nobody gives a poop. Nobody cares.
Yeah.
I'm not going to care. I'm not going to look back at the stats this year. I'm going to say he was the ace. Yeah, Pete, but no, he was the ace. When it mattered most, he dominated. I don't care. That's when you earn your money.
Yeah.
He earned it.
And he said it the other day when a reporter asked him, and credit to Garrett Cole for handling this entire situation as professional as he has, because he could have been a dick. Like, he could have definitely been a jerk this entire season, but he's been accountable, right? He's held himself accountable, and he said it like, listen, there's an argument to have Nestor Cortez be the number one starter. He said the Yankees, they paid me not to be the number one starter. They paid me to win. So even if that's pitching game 2 or game 3. So credit to Garrett Cole for recognizing that and getting above or before the conversation, before reporters could just start buzz feeding him that question.
Facts, no doubt about it. And I heard that and I liked it. And I said, there's been times this year where Garrett Cole has come across a little bit like, man, come on, why do you excuse? Like, Billy Crystal stuff. The game started a little late. It was rainy. Come on, man. Like, the one thing about New York is, this. New Yorkers don't like excuses. We don't want to hear that. You know what I mean? We respect you a lot more if you go out there and go, hey, look, I sucked. You know what I mean? I let my team down. That's my bad. So for him to even recognize, be like, you know what? But I was paid to win, so it really doesn't matter where I go. I'm going to go out there and look to win. That's what I was paid to come here to do. And even in this speech yesterday, man, he brings up, I've always been a Yankee fan and all that. So, it means something to Garrett Cole to have that record. I could guarantee that. It definitely means something. And to have a great like Ron Guidry, reach out to you, speak to you about it, it's an awesome moment for him. And right now, this is truly where Garrett Cole can build that Yankee legacy, is by doing it in the postseason and getting it done. Because, again, I'll just repeat what I said before. If Garrett Cole isn't dominating, if Garrett Cole doesn't consistently go into the 7th inning, I just can't see the Yankees going to where they need to go.
Yeah.
Can't see it. So this is the time he makes that legacy.
Yeah, especially now with we have so many questions now with the bullpen. Ron Marinaccio was put on the IL. Thank God it was only a shin soreness that he was put on the IL, so that's precaution. You don't know what you're going to get out of Clay Holmes when he comes back off the IL, because he hasn't pitched. Aroldis Chapman is a mystery box waiting to happen. You don't know what you're going to get out of Aroldis Chapman. Wandy Peralta, he's going to be crisp when he comes back from his injury. So we definitely need our starters, especially Garrett Cole, to go 7 innings strong and just be that bridge to the bullpen so they could piece it together. Now they have some arms like Jonathan Loizaga. He has totally did a 180 from the beginning of the season till now, and I think that's somebody that we could trust going into the postseason. But besides that, it's a bit shaky. Scott Efros, you brought him up in your stream. Scott Efros, his stuff has looked filthy, especially with his swing and miss stuff. He doesn't have over dominating, overpowering stuff, but he does have swing and miss stuff. So I'm nervous, but at the same time excited going into the postseason with this bullpen.
Yeah, the bullpen is a concern, no doubt about it. I mean, with a lot of the injuries and the unknown, I think is the best way to put it. There's a lot of unknown there, and when you're headed into the postseason, you don't really want to be like, hey, we have a lot of unknowns here. You kind of want to have, set spots. All right, well, 7th, 8th, and 9th, I know who's pitching. I tell you what, one guy I'm a little concerned about, and I hope he pitches today, but he hasn't pitched in a long time, is Lou Trevino. And I don't know if I don't remember hearing any reports about it. I know there's been a flu going around, so maybe it's something with that, and he just hasn't pitched. But I haven't heard nothing about Trevino, but we also haven't seen him. And,
Mm-hmm.
he has been, I mean, if you look at the Frankie Montas deal, he's been the deal for the Yankees. He's been a
Yep.
dominating relief pitcher, pitching well under a 2 ERA for the Yankees, and he's been
Mm-hmm.
phenomenal. He's one of the guys when they came here. I said, look out for Trevino. People saw
Yeah.
his numbers, and I said, that's not who this guy is. Like, Trevino could dominate, and I felt like
Mm-hmm.
with Matt Blake, who does a lot with pitch sequence, and sometimes it gets me angry because they'll throw 700 sliders in a row. It's like,
Yeah.
come on, man. Like, the man throws 98. What are you doing throwing a 3-1 slider for? Like, what are we doing here? But he's been phenomenal for the Yankees. So he's a guy I would keep my eye on if I'm a Yankee fan, on where they put him in those later in games. Is he going to be a guy earlier in games to be put out fires, or are we going to see him in the 7th, 8th, or 9th? But right now I just think it's a toss-up, and it's going to come down to a lot of good management. It's going to come down to a lot of good management and feel, which is something we don't talk a lot about with Aaron Boone, is the feel for the game, because there's always that question of, who's really making the call? What are they basing it off of? Is it more feel? He tells us, hey, I'm a baseball guy. I never question that. Aaron Boone's whole family are baseball people, so I don't deny that. But how much of it is he really putting into feel than just analytic numbers and matchups? I just feel like feel means something, and especially knowing your guys. We don't know them. He does. He knows what they're doing. He knows how they feel. It's going to be very interesting to see how they navigate the bullpen in the postseason.
Yeah, and you said it, Aaron Boone, he comes from a family of baseball lifers, from his brother to his father to his grandfather. If I'm not mistaken, I think his father was a part of the Cincinnati Reds when they were the Big Red Machine.
Yeah.
So, so Aaron Boone, just reminisce and go back to the days when you was eating cereal for breakfast in the morning and relive those conversations you was hearing your grandfather and your pops was having. Like, tap into that because he has that, because that's one thing that, we can say as fans, we didn't grow up around the game like Aaron Boone grew up around the game, right? Yes, it's a different day and age, 2020 to the 80s and 70s, but at the same time, baseball is still baseball.
That's right.
Regardless
That's exactly
of what era you're in, baseball is still baseball, and you have the feel for the game if you have the feel for the game.
That's 100% right.
If the Yankees win tonight, Aaron Boone, that would be 100 wins. And almost every season he's been here, he's got 100 wins except for last year and because of, 2020 and the pandemic and stuff like that. Yep. But Aaron Boone, this is where you could rewrite the same way with Garrett Cole. You could rewrite your season right now. A lot of fans have been coming for Aaron Boone, especially with Don Mattingly, falling out or leaving the Marlins and all those rumors and stuff. But Aaron Boone, this is your time to shine. And, it's put up a shut up time. Like you said, it's going to go with a lot of feel. Who's going to be called in and what situation? If it's the bases loaded in the 6th inning, are you going to bring your best reliever in? Those are the type of questions that Aaron Boone is going to have to answer.
Yeah, no doubt about it. It's going to be very interesting, because the other thing you can't really focus on is earlier in the year, the Yankees did an amazing job of hit and runs, stealing bases. Then it kind of tailed off when they started to really struggle. I'm like, well, where did that baseball go to? The team hasn't changed much. Like, what happened there? That's playoff baseball right there. I mean, that's playoff baseball. When do you take chances? Well, if you're, knock on wood, if you're facing a guy like a Justin Verlander, let me tell you something. You better hope you're able to do things like hit and runs. You better hope you're able to bunt and lay one down, because that's when one run can make a world of a difference. And that's the thing about the Yankees that honestly, as a fan, a lot of times really drive me nuts is you cannot sit back and just have the expectation that Aaron Judge is going to continue to carry us. If Aaron Judge doesn't do a lot in the postseason, you just need somebody else to do it. He's done it all year. You need somebody else to step up. And a lot of that has to do with guys stealing bases, hit and runs, little things of that nature, that you win, sack flies, the little things that you win games with, not when you got first and third, you get back-to-back strikeouts, no outs, you back-to-back strikeouts, pop-ups. You got to just put the ball in play, make things happen. In the postseason, that's gonna determine who wins and who goes home.
Yeah, 100%. And it also, it's going to be very interesting to see how the playoff roster is shaped, right? And
very much.
I'm gonna bring up the conversation because you've been leading this march. You've been in the front with the flag leading this march, but Peraza, my man is hitting over 320. He had his first major league home run in the first game of the doubleheader. But Oswald Peraza. He has to be in this lineup, bro. Peraza and Cabrera going forward, that energy that they bring, they have to be in this lineup. I know you talked about it a million times, but to the people watching, let them know your thoughts when it comes to Ozzy Peraza.
Man, I tell you, man, he's a guy. Oswald Peraza has been a guy I've been talking about for about almost like 2.5 years now. I mean, really hard body. I've been talking about Peraza and what he brings to the table. This offseason, I talked to Ozzie Guillen about him. Ozzie Guillen knows his father well, so I just asked him about him. What can you tell me about Oswald Peraza? And he goes, I actually seen him when he was a lot younger play, and even then, I mean, you're talking about he was the best defender on the field at 15, 16 years old. He was the best on the field by far, not even close. And they were a little worried about the offense coming around, and then he just put it all together. And I mean, we see this guy play. I mean, just a little base hit. Saw the stolen base the other night, the bomb home run to left field on a frozen rope. People got mad at me. There's a lot of IKF defenders out there, like real hard body defenders. And it's weird to me because when I bring up things about IKF, I'm not saying the guy's a bad ball player. I'm not saying that IKF should not even sniff the Yankees or be around the Yankees. What I'm saying is the New York Yankees told us, not me, I didn't tell you, the Yankees told us that he was a stopgap until guys like Peraza were ready. That's all I'm going off of. I'm sitting back saying, okay, the stopgap was decent. But our guy, Oswald Peraza, is no doubt about it ready. He's ready. He's a better fielder than IKF at shortstop. No question. He got a cannon for an arm. The potential offensively is way higher than what it is. The guy, it's this simple. If I'm making out my roster and I'm saying we're gunning for a World Series, we're in the playoffs, we're gunning for a World Series. All right, making it out. We know our judges. We know that bottom of the order. Bader's been decent, but we know what Bader can do. I got him in there for defense. I don't give a poot about his offense ability. I don't. He's the best defensive center fielder in baseball, right up there. That's his value. Now I look around and I go, I don't give a shit what the Yankees' internal numbers tell them about IKF. I know what my eyes tell me. He's not the best defensive shortstop in the American League. He's nowhere near it. Nowhere near it. When I'm looking at that, I'm going, all right, we got Trevino down there, we got Bader down there, we got IKF down. I say, you know what? Third base is a little iffy, too. We don't know. Is it going to be LeMahieu, Donaldson? We don't know. But I tell you this right now. I got to have impact down there. I got to have impact down there. And for me, it is a no-brainer. If it comes to stealing bases, I know IKF got 20-something. Peraza altogether on the season got more than 40. I'm going with Peraza. If it comes to offense potential, if I want some pop down there, got to make things happen, I'm going to Peraza. If it comes to defense at shortstop, I'm going to Peraza. I just am. Everything that you can bring my way, I can simply look at you and go, I'm sorry, I'm going Peraza. It has nothing to do with IKF. Again, I just go back to the words of the Yankees. He's part of that future. They said we're missing out on these guys, on everybody else, Correa, Seager, Simeon. We're missing out on those guys because we know what we have in the minor leagues. IKF was brought over. He is our stopgap. They never sat there and go, this is the future of the Yankees. We've been told that Peraza and Volpe are the future of the Yankees. So if I'm seeing Oswald Peraza come up, he never looks overmatched. Even on his strikeouts, he's going to strike out. He's going to make a bad play. He's a young kid. He's never going to come up and just dominate. There's going to be a little adjustment there. But he's done a phenomenal job. Every aspect of the ball, he's done really well. You gotta put your best lineup out there. And to me, he's the best guy because I tell you what right now, a lot of people like my rants. I always tell people all the time, I don't enjoy doing rants. I don't like doing them. I tell you what, if IKF makes a bad botch and it costs the Yankees a game, I'm going to flip shit all over the place because it is obvious that this shouldn't happen. We've seen a whole year of it. But the Yankees are sitting there going, no, he's the best, he's the best, he's the best, he's the best. If he does something wrong and messes up, it's going to be a nightmare for the New York Yankees. And Aaron Boone specifically. Because I'm not saying that Boone shouldn't stick up first. Of course he should. But to sit there and look at the fans who watch every single game and bullshit us, we know
Mm-hmm.
it's bullshit. It's going to come back and bite you on the ass if something bad happens. So now, if he does start, I hope he gets a hit every at bat. I hope he gets a walk-off hit. I hope he feels phenomenal because that's the only way the Yankees can win. They need more guys to do it. But I just feel like it's a no-brainer that Peraza should be the starter. I just feel like it's a no-brainer.
It definitely is. I could just think right now off the top of my head, there's at least 5 games that we lost this season because of IKF and his shoddy defense, right?
No, bro.
And
there was a video. I don't mean to cut you off real quick, but
no, go ahead, brother. Go ahead, brother.
I think John Boy Media put it out there, and he did a video, and it was phenomenal. It really was. It was really good. And he basically said, okay, those are the errors he have. Forget the errors. Let's look at the other plays that should have been errors. There's like 20-something of them.
Yes.
I mean,
yes.
This guy is not a good defensive shortstop. It's that simple. It really is.
The majority of Garrett Cole's bad start this year when he's supposed to get out the inning, but that error has happened majority because of IKF. And you said it, there's a lot of errors that aren't counted as errors because they happen during the shift. So, you know, when they shift, they don't count them as errors because they're out of position, supposedly out of position. But those are still plays that you should make.
Yeah.
You know, and I get it. You know, the defense is he was better than Gleyber Torres was last year at shortstop. My man, you could put me on Orchard Beach in a pair of Timbs. I would be a better shortstop than Gleyber Torres was last year at shortstop. The bar's on the ground when it comes to that, bro.
Fact. Yeah, that's not accomplishing something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's not accomplishing much right there. Be like, hey, he's been better than Gleyber. What did we do with Gleyber last year? We didn't get past the wild card. You know what I mean? It didn't work. We knew it didn't work. So I think that's the main thing that bothers me is that, and I know people a lot of times come at me and go, yeah, people, what do you want Boone to say? It's not even about that. It's the fact of the matter is that Aaron Boone doesn't have to throw him under the bus, but Aaron Boone could simply say, hey, look, I think he's one of the better shortstops in the American League. Should he have made that play? Yes. He knows he should have made that play too. Didn't happen. Next time we got to go out there and make sure we make plays like that. That's not knocking him. That's simply saying, I know he's a good shortstop, but that play should have been made.
Yeah.
But to come out and just be like, hey, fans, you guys don't know what the hell you're talking about. We know. We got internal numbers to say he's the best. And we're sitting there watching these games like, bro, I watched baseball my whole damn life. Like, what the frig you guys talking about? Like, I'm more than happy to be like, nah, you know what? He is good. He's been clutch. I'll give him that. He's had a lot of clutch hits this year. But to sit there and go, I want my best talent on the field, and I'm going to ride with the best talent, you know, Peraza all day over IKF, no question.
Yeah. The defense is there. The speed is there. One thing that I could say about Peraza and Cabrera, both of them, is that as young players coming up, when they hit the ball on the ground, it doesn't matter if they know it's going to be an out, they run it out.
Oh, 100%.
Especially Peraza. They have that Jeter hustle that they're going to bust it down the line every time, every at bat, and you see it. That's the type of energy you need. You don't need the Gleyber Torres, I'm going to just lollygag and jog to first base, right?
Donaldson, I just duck my head and not even run to first. I mean, we've seen that. We've seen him do that a lot of times. That's a veteran doing it. So, and that's just, you know, I guess, I don't know, maybe I'm old school in that aspect of it where I'm just like, man, you know, this is the part where I think people bring up money. I'm like, bro, you guys are getting paid $20 million a season. You can't run 90 feet every damn time. Bro, if somebody said you getting paid $90 million, you got to wake up at 6 in the morning and run a mile hard every day.
I'm sprinting, bro.
Bro, my ass is out. I don't care what I got on. I'll be like, I'll jump out there in my drawers. What are we doing?
Yeah.
I'm out there to go. I'm like, you can't run. Come on, man. And that's where it's like I get upset sometimes with Boone. I'm like, bro, we're watching this. Like, I don't want to come at you, but who else do you come at on this? Like, you can't let these guys get away with this nonsense. Like, we've seen that so much, but, you know, you're right. And I think there is something to the Yankee youth playing. I really think it adds a different aspect. They're hungry. Whether it's just to fight for a spot, doesn't matter. Another good thing, too, is their backgrounds are very interesting. Like, the parts, too, of Venezuela, and I learned this from Ozzie Guillen, that they come from, they don't come from the cutest neighborhoods of Venezuela. You know what I mean? No. So for these guys, that background is we got to make it. You know what I mean? I got to go out there and do it. There's a lot of pride on the line to do it. And, you know, to me, that also means something because winning the championship in that first year and going out there and being somebody who really contributed to it means a lot. You can see the energy on Oswaldo Cabrera. I mean, you can see it on Peraza when he plays, how excited they are. I think all that plays a little bit of a factor into getting them in there.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%, bro. I can't say it better. It's going to be interesting to see what happens in the postseason. I wish we had a crystal ball just to like look at the future, take a glimpse at it real quick. But we got to talk about it real quick before you dip out. It's the elephant in the room. Aaron Judge and his contract. Every at bat, every homer, the price just kept going up, kept going up, kept going up. The Yankees have a 5-day window, like after the World Series, to negotiate with him. Right then and there is when the Yankees have to take care of it. You cannot let him leave those 5-day period and go into free agency because somebody's going to come around and snatch him up real quick.
Yeah, man. I actually I actually tweeted about that this morning. Buster Olney is already out there reporting that the San Francisco Giants are waiting. They're just waiting for Judge, and he said he would not be shocked at all if it's one of the largest contracts of all time from the Giants, and just blows everybody out the water, including the Yankees.
Yeah.
I did an interview last offseason with Kevin Kernan, and Kevin Kernan told me flat out, he goes, "The Giants, Pete." And I'm like, yeah, that I've actually heard a little rumbling about that. He goes, "Oh no, it's not rumbling. The Giants." He's like, and Kevin Kern has been around forever. So, Kevin Kernan knows his stuff. He knows the people he's talking to. And, he even, in that interview, he spoke with Judge. He was like, yeah, Judge, what the Giants are, like joking around with him. He's like, Judge just smiled. And, Judge knew, either way, Judge knows, like, yeah, I'm going to get paid no matter what. But
yeah,
you hit the nail on the head, man. If you're the New York Yankees, you do everything in your power to get this guy locked in those first 5 days, the exclusive little window. It's a short time period. You got you started working on. You got people. If you're Cashman, you got cats already working on that. What's the presentation? What does the captain stuff come with? Do we have Derek Jeter present it to him? Do we make a big show up? You got to figure out every aspect. What is the contract like? Do we say, hey, Aaron, look, the first couple of years, we're going to pay you $45 million a year, and that's just going to go down from there, but the average value is going to be this. You got to get creative, and that is where I'm nervous. Brian Cashman is not a creative GM. He never has been.
No.
In the sense of creativity and contracts. We see cats be like, yeah, we'll pay you for 20 years, deferred down the line, but we just want to keep it a little lower now, but you're going to be taken care of. Don't worry about it. You got to find ways to be creative here. You got to find ways to be creative. And if you're the Yankees, guys, don't again feed the fans with the bullshit of, oh, we're going to pay this one guy this much or we were competitive. You guys, 1, you're the Yankees. 2, he just broke the home run record. That's getting you tons more revenue. 3, you're going to name him the captain. That's a whole nother revenue stream of merchandise sales and this and that and memorabilia. Don't give me the nonsense that you can't pay to do. We don't want to hear that as Yankee fans. We don't want to hear it. We don't want to hear it. Because guess what? I'll bring it up. I'm sorry. I know fans hate it. If George Steinbrenner was alive, he'd be a Yankee already and the captain, and everything he wanted would already be done. And I go back to what I said about this. The minute the Yankees had the nerve to build him a little box thing in right field, it should have came with a contract.
Yep.
That's simple. The minute you felt like we're going to go ahead and put a whole right field thing out there, the judges' chambers, and all this other stuff, it should have came with a judge. Before we do this, we want to offer you a 10-year deal at your 27 age, whatever it is. We want to lock you in long term. We feel you're the future of this team. It should have came with that. When it didn't, it was already wrong to do. Shouldn't have done it because guess what? All you guys thought about right there was we want the shkadal. That's it. That's all we want. We want the money.
Yeah.
And you got it. But now it's time to pay up. And I think, again, it's a story that people aren't talking about. A story of perseverance. An unbelievable story from Aaron Judge to turn down 230 when most Yankee fans were shitting on him. When he did it. Just sign the deal. Just sign the deal. The man can't have belief in himself. He can't say, I am more valuable. Why does he got to sign it for? The Yankees didn't sign him 3 years ago. So why should he sit back now and go, no big deal. I'll just sign whatever you guys give me. Nah, it don't work that way. And now the ball is in Judge's court and his agent.
Yep.
And I would love to be his agent because I sit down with Cashman and this is my conversation. Just so you guys know, if we're not starting more annual than Garrett Cole, we don't have a conversation. Just let us know.
Yeah.
And we'll move on. He wants to be here. I think you guys want him here. If we're not starting more than $36 million a year, we'll talk to you later.
It literally, if you look at the books, right, the finances for next season, right,
Yep.
you got Aroldis Chapman, 18 million coming off the books.
Correct.
Right. Zach Britton's 15 million coming off the books.
Yep.
Or for those two contracts alone, that's 33 million right there, right?
Yeah.
Take what Aaron Judge is making this season, 17 million, right? Add that to the conversation. That's 50 million right there. The Yankees can offer Judge per year as his annual AAV, right?
Yeah.
If you want to make it 40 million, make it 40 million. You got 10 million that you're putting to the side just by getting rid of Aroldis Chapman and Zach Britton, which you already are. You're going to get rid of those two, and you're not going to bring in a high value reliever coming in to replace them. So that money that you're saving when it comes to getting rid of those contracts, put that to Judge. But like you said, when it comes to Judge's chambers in right field, right? I had Eric Hubbs on the channel on Monday from Barstools, and he said it. He's like, the Yankees they cannot afford Judge to walk away and then have the Judge's chambers taken out of right field.
And he's leaving with the record. I mean,
and leaving with the record, taking Judge's chambers out of right field. That's like if the St. Louis Cardinals took out Big Mac land from St. Even with all the drama that came with, they left Big Mac land there. Correct. They literally left it there. Even with all the Senate hearings, whatever, they left it there with all the drama attached to it. The Yankees can't do that. They have the money and they need to do that. Like Michael Caputo's in the chat. He said, plus Tyone is coming off the books.
Caput knows, man. Caput knows, man. Stay back, Caput. But
Caput's a pitbull, bro.
He is, man. He is. Just to even run off like with what you were just saying right there. I mean, you know, Caput's right in that sense. The Tyone's coming off the books. But the other thing you got to look at is, and this is when I talk about creativity, Aaron Hicks. Aaron Hicks gotta go. Josh Donaldson gotta go. I know people always go, yeah, there's nobody that's gonna want. Folks, there's people that are gonna want these guys. You can get rid of them. The Red Sox one time got rid of like $180 million in contracts. Like we'll figure it out. Let whatever we got to do. We're talking about $10 million a year, and I broke this down the other day. I said, guys, look, if you can save, let's say the Yankees pay $6 million a year on Aaron Hicks' contract, they save $4 million. Wouldn't you want to do? Wouldn't you do that? Who wouldn't do that? Yeah, of course. If the Yankees even go, okay, well, Josh Donaldson got $25 more million for 2023. Hey, look, if you take him with one of our low A pitchers, whatever it is, and we'll pay half of that contract, I'm okay walking away with 12.5. I think the Yankees will be okay with saying we'll save 12.5. All that money goes to other guys. The great thing for the Yankees is you could even then say, you know what? I would love for them to sign Carlos Rodon. Probably never going to happen. But if we want to go out there and add another starting pitcher, we got Gleyber Torres, who's coming off a good year, and we're not going to pay him. The Yankees aren't paying Gleyber Torres.
Nope.
They're not going to re-sign Gleyber Torres to a large deal. He got one more year after. He got 2023, and then he's a free agent. Whatever $9 million or so he's going to get via arbitration, don't pay it. Trade him. You got? Do we not got Peraza? Do we not got Volpe? Do we not got Cabrera? You got replacements, and they're cheap. You got to build. That's the easiest reason why you should say bring Judge back. Because now we got these younger guys that can replace him. One, and two, it would allow us to be creative in the aspect of really restructuring this roster with athletes, with real athletes. You can figure so many different things out. You can figure other trades that are possibly out there. There's many things. You can figure out maybe a couple of lower level free agent signings. But Aaron Judge got to be the priority, and you got to bring him back. It's that simple. There's no way they miss out on this. But as you said, that 5-day exclusive window after the World Series is going to be very important. Yeah,
100%. And like you said, Cashman has to get creative. I think call up Arizona, try to figure it out, get a 3-team trade going, like flip Josh Donaldson, IKF, Gleyber Torres for Madison Bumgarner, and bring me Josh Rojas, the third baseman that Arizona Arizona Diamondbacks have. That's a kid that I want in Yankee Stadium. He's a left-handed hitter. He doesn't strike out that much. He's a 270 hitter. Put his bat in Yankee Stadium, he's definitely hitting you 20 home runs. And he's a defense first player. Josh Rojas, I think he will be a still under the radar for the Yankees, but you have to get creative. And like you said, I'm not sure if Brian Cashman is that type of GM. Brian Cashman, he's been burned when it came to big deals, right? Look back, AJ Burnett, we got one championship, but it was a total dumpster fire. Jacoby Ellsbury as well. That was probably the worst contract he gave out. So I don't think I don't think Brian Cashman as a GM wants those bad contracts attached to his, resume going forward or for the rest of his career.
Yeah. My main concern, and I talked about this earlier, is Brian Cashman's ego gets in the way. And this is not me saying this. This is known fact. Most reporters would have actually reported on this before. The scary thing for me is I could even hear the Yankees right now and Brian Cashman going, well, the shift took away 25 hits from Aaron Hicks. So with there not being a shift next year, we feel he's going to be much more valuable to us this year. I can hear it, and at $10 million, I can hear the Yankees saying that. Well, if these hits came in, we projected our internal numbers, that he probably would have hit 250, 12 homers. It would have been for $10 million, he would have been much more valuable. I can see them saying that. When everybody else in the world is going, yeah, you move on, but creativity is going to be key, and that is where Brian Cashman got to hit the nail on the head and be extremely creative this year. And we'll see what it does. First, of course, we got the postseason right here, but it's going to be a very interesting offseason. It really is, because I tell you what, like, you guys have promised us, the Yankees has promised this youth influx. Now, we've seen Cabrera, we've seen Peraza. The last one waited for is Anthony Volpe, and I don't want to. I hate saying it, but it's going to be the same nonsense that he had. Oh, he needs more time in AAA.
Yeah.
Yet the Braves, the Mariners, all these other teams are like, yeah, AA, you good? Come up for AA, you're ready. We know you're right. We know you can handle this. Come on. You got to have the balls in that aspect. And if you're telling us these guys are the future, these guys are going to be up. We're missing out on these free agents because we believe in these guys. I'm cool with that. I'm cool with you saying that. If the Yankees just came out and said, hey, look, we're going to pass up on Correa and this guy because we really do feel like Oswald Peraza should be the I would have been much more okay with them being like, I had a stopgap, but then he becomes the everyday guy for good.
Yeah.
Because just going back to what I said before, not to be mistaken, IKF is going to be the starting shortstop in the postseason. What I've told you guys is not going to happen. That's not going to happen. Should it happen? Yeah. But they're not going to do that. The Yankees aren't going to do that. There's no way. So I just hope everything works out. But creativity, I think, is the key word for this offseason, because it comes with Aaron Judge and it comes with the roster. So we'll see how creative Brian Cashman could get.
Yeah, definitely. Pete, bro, I totally love this conversation, bro. And I think we could go for hours and hours just talking about the Yankees and everything else. But Pete, bro, let's see. If you're free this Friday, I'm doing a roundtable this Friday. I'm having different Yankee content creators on. Tat from Pinstripe Chronicles will be on. Jigga Man will be on with me. We had one guy who bowed out, so we're trying to fill that. Also, Jason from 161 River Ave, he's going to be in the conversation. So if you're free this Friday at 11 o'clock, same time, let us know. And if you're free, just you could try to make the conversation. We'd love to have you on, brother.
Of course, man. I'll let you know. No doubt about it.
All right. Definitely, my guy. Bro, again, appreciate you for coming on. And guys, if you aren't subscribed to the NYY News TV, what are you doing? What are you doing? You're missing out. You're missing out on the good conversation. You get a couple of how you doings, a couple of where you're going. But Pete, brother, appreciate you, my guy. You be safe, baby.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Later. That was our guy, Pete Simonetti from the NYY News TV. And of course, we got to keep the conversation going, right? But before we keep the conversation going, I'm going to play a little intro that we got here, and we'll be right back for the conversation. Let's go. Ooh, I just get so hyped when I see that one come in. But I got two fellas that I got to bring in. These is the guys from Cashing Out NYC. This is my man's Pots and Pans, Gringo, my cousin, without figuring out that's my cousin, and Mr. C, of course. I'm going to bring Mr. C in first because, Mr. C, you got that Dragon Ball Z gi, and my man, we right here. We right here 100 times. But Gringo, what it do, baby?
Doing great.
What's happening?
Judge hit number 62, so my guys had to come on just to talk that mess. But fellas, You guys, the Yankees, we only got one more game tonight for the regular season, but I got to give you guys your credits, right? The entire season, you guys have been at Yankee Stadium, at Citi Field for your trivia right before the game. You guys have been covered the entire season, but the season is almost over. But you guys have been doing God's work out there on the field, because not that many content creators are out there talking to Yankee fans or talking to Met fans on a daily basis, and you guys are doing it. I just want to know, how was your season? You know, when you look back on this season, what's your takeaways from it? Gringo, if you want to go first, and then throw it to C, or however you want to do it.
Go ahead, Mr. C.
This season has been fun, and it's funny because me and Gringo, before we started talking about it, like, hey, let's do it. And then since the season started, we've been grateful that both the New York teams have been great, because it makes for our content to make it even fantastic. Because we were never worried about the Yankees not having a good season. We were a little concerned about the Mets, because we were like, man, if the Mets have a bad season, how many Mets fans are really going to show up? Are they going to be pessimistic? Up, same old Mets. They all the hype, but the fact that both teams had a good season, it was great. We had no idea that in the middle of us going to the Yankee games, that Judge would be on this historic path. How Cole set the all-time Yankee record for most strikeouts in a season, how the evolution of Nestor Cortez, the rise of Severino. Bader's been a fantastic addition for this squad, which is basically, as we said when we were on before, he's basically taking Hicks' job. Hicks is gone. The fun of Oswaldo Cabrera, he has been a spark plug. Benintendi, before he got hurt, was really good. So the Yankees are gearing up that this is probably looking like a deeper run. And of all the Yankee years I was confident in, I'm more confident in this year's run as opposed to the years past, because now you have a balanced team, and hopefully they can give Aaron Judge the help he needs. And as long as the pitching can hold up, the Yankees will be just fine. As far as the Mets, well, the Mets put themselves in this predicament. Me and Gringo were talking off air about how the Mets had a chance to win this division, but unfortunately they let it, slip out of their hands. When you go 6-8 against the Nationals, the Cubs, the A's, and the Pirates, all those bad teams, you have a chance to close the deal and you didn't do it. You sealed your fate. So let's see if the Mets fans show up Friday and Saturday this weekend, because their playoff lives are literally in the balance against a very underrated Padres team with a good pitching staff, with Manny Machado and Juan Soto coming in with Josh Bell. We're going to see how the Mets do against a very, very good Padres team.
Yeah, definitely. I gotta try to see if I could get this to you guys, because I know you guys are still going to be at the stadiums for the postseason, covering, doing the same thing. But I got a Francisco Lindor cup that we made, or whatever, right? And then I got a Derek Jeter cup that we made for the captain. So I got these two cups for you guys. That way you could give it out to Yankee fans. A little free merchandise for your giveaways and stuff like that. Back before it falls. But Gringo, same question going your way, bro. What was your thoughts on this season, looking back on it?
It had a lot to do with, reflecting on the fact that we were both lucky to see both teams just be this good at the same time. And we did the trivia at the right season. It was something that most people, like you said, it's weird for people to go out there and do that and talk to fans like that so openly and all that stuff. So it was just amazing to see both teams showing emotion, knowing their trivia, and at the same time when they didn't know the answer, they'd be like, listen, I'm a diehard, it happens, I don't have to know everything. But there's been a lot of particular funny answers we've gotten on both ends that I'm like, are you sure that that's that player? They're like, I'm not even sure. I'm not even sure. I'm throwing it out on a limb right there.
You had somebody who thought Rafael Soriano was somebody from Bachata Band. Like when they went. But I just want to take a quick second. Shout out to my guys from For the Love of the Game, my brothers Harwell and my guy Lawrence Mayberry. Appreciate y'all for showing up. But yeah, a question. I know this is off topic from baseball. But are you guys going to be at Madison Square Garden and the Barclays for the Nets and the Knicks? I need to know as a diehard Knicks fan. Are you guys going to be there?
This is Cashing Out NYC. It's all major New York sports. We're going anywhere and everywhere.
Copy.
Listen, and also, I'm not giving things away, but we're also going to be taking our things on the road. Where we'll go, well, just stay tuned. Stay tuned. Stay tuned.
It's very mysterious, very mystery box-esque of you, Mr. C.
Of course. Listen, we call ourselves everywhere and nowhere because we're here and we're always not here. And we're also going to be at MetLife Stadium for the Giants and the Jets. And, we're actually very blessed that the Giants are off to a good start. The Jets are at 500. We're even going to be doing a little bit of the NHL for all you hockey lovers, with the Rangers and the Islanders. So, listen. We're gonna be. This is Cashing Out NYC. We're not just exclusive to baseball. We're covering all the big four major sports.
No, I feel you. And hopefully, maybe one of you guys could get a Ranger fan or somebody who's familiar with hockey to teach me what icing is, because even still, at 33 years old, I do not know what that rule icing is in hockey, and I'm still trying to figure it out to this day.
I think it's you buy the cone and that's when you're icing.
Yeah, piragua, like the piragua guy, right? Like the piragua guy.
Exactly.
But man, you guys literally came around at the perfect timing, right? This season was the perfect timing, like you said, because both teams are doing good. Even when you look at, the Knicks, they had that first preseason game. They looked real good. Like you said, the Giants are 3-1. The Jets are 2-2. They're at 500. If this was a year ago now, I would have been praying for you guys, because this is not the start that any of those teams had, even the Yankees, because the Yankees were struggling last year as well. But you guys came around at the right time. This is the perfect season to start it, the inaugural season of Cashing Out NYC. But Aaron Judge and his 62 home run chase, by God, that's, to me, I think this is the best season any professional athlete has put together when it comes from an offensive side, whether it's baseball, basketball, or football. I don't remember anybody leading in every category like Aaron Judge is leading, besides batting average, but literally leading in every offensive category in baseball.
Oh yeah, 1,000%. And obviously, it's even more of a big thing because it was his contract year. So adding on to that, the pressure and everything, and these last couple of weeks, I feel like has been a big reflection period for him, alongside obviously the home run chase, because he understands the amount of pressure in New York, but also the pressure he has within to, get it done. And you could see it. He was getting mad at first base umpires, He was acting very non-judge like. So for him to finally get it, and I knew he was going to get it on the road, because Yankee Stadium, with all that was swirling around, eventually I knew it was going to be somewhere on the road. But it's just phenomenal to see him getting it done. Great stuff.
Yeah, 100%. Go ahead, Mr. C.
And it's funny because me and Greg were texting when he hit 61. He actually hit 61 on my birthday.
Happy belated, baby.
So, thank you. And it's funny because our birthdays are on the same week, and we kind of find it funny that how I said, hey, maybe the Yankees are going to clinch the division around his birthday, and Judge will hit 61 on my birthday, and lo and behold, they clinch the division around his birthday, and they clinch the 61 was on my birthday. And I said, hey, maybe get 61 on the road, because Yankee Stadium is too much pressure, circumstances, and he finally done it. And I'm not trying to make Yankee fans upset, but this is the American League record. Bonds is still the home run king. It is still the record. They haven't taken the record. They haven't taken it from him. They haven't stripped it from him. Bonds still has the all-time record, but to celebrate Judge getting the American League record, the single season record, he leads in almost every single offensive category except for batting average, which he's not going to get. The guy in Minnesota is going to get it. But at the end of the day, Judge had a phenomenal season, a contract year. This, by far, is the greatest season an athlete has on a contract year, because I know Lamar Jackson's doing his thing on a contract year, but unless Lamar wins MVP, it's a foregone formality that Judge is going to win slugger, MVP, all the major categories, but it has to end in a World Series. Because if you remember, guys, Babe Ruth hit 60 in 27. The Yankees won the World Series. Roger Maris hit 61. The Yankees won the World Series. It all lines up for the Yankees winning the World Series. Get 28 in 22.
For now, I can't say it any better because the pressure now I think is going to be taken off of him because he hit 62. You know, if he would have stood on 61 for the rest of the season and then went into the postseason, I think there would have been more pressure on Aaron Judge. But I think right now Aaron Judge could just take a step back, right? They're going to have the next 5 days off and get ready for the postseason. But you bring it up perfectly when you said that the home run record, right, with Barry Bonds. And I'm somebody that, you know, I recognize Barry Bonds as the home run king, right? Something I always tell people, like, when you want to have this conversation when it comes to PEDs, steroids, and stuff like that, let's have the conversation. But there's not one scientific article, there's not one peer review article, there's not any empirical evidence that points to the fact that steroid use, PED use improves your hand-to-eye coordination. Now, does it help you with muscle and stamina and recovery? Yes, but when it comes to hand-to-eye coordination, there's not one report, one article, one anything that pinpoints to that. Now, in the future, if there's something that comes out and pinpoints to say like, hey, it does actually have an improvement on it, then I'll shut up and I'll eat crow. But until then, I'm going to recognize Barry Bonds for what it is. Barry Bonds is the home run king, whether we want to admit it or not, right? The season he put together was phenomenal. Same thing when it comes to Sosa and Maguire having 60 home runs. That's there. You're not going to go in the record book and just take records out for no reason. And I don't want it to be, right, seeing Gringo, and I'll let Gringo go right after this, that in 20 or 30 years, right, God forbid something happens to Barry Bonds, right? God forbid he passes away, knock on wood and everything. I don't want it to be that moment that Barry Bonds is recognized and celebrated as the home run king. I don't want anything to happen to him and then reminisce and look back, oh, well, he's the home run king. Roger Maris passed away, and 6 years later, he was recognized as the home run king. Go ahead, Gringo.
Yeah, with the reality that we live in, with people start to realize the greatness after the fact. So it's a great point you made there. And honestly, in terms of this home run race, it's just plain and simple. The stats show it. You know, there isn't some sort of asterisk on it. And although, you know, there is an asterisk on it, but at the end of the day, that's, you know, at that point, there was no testing. So, you know, to do it where in a sport where everyone else is doing it, it was like a open policy. Everyone's like, here you go. You want to take this? All right, let's do it. And it was no problem. So, to basically the hypocrisy that some want to say not reporters, but like in the baseball world, to not accept it at the time where even Bud Selig, who was the commissioner at that point, he's in the Hall of Fame. Why was he not talked about in terms of policing it at the right time when things were about to snowball in the way it did? So that's a couple of points
and
there.
Ain't that's a great point, Gringo, because ain't none of those owners giving back ticket sales because it was on the PEDs. None of that's happening, but you want to take awards away. So, but that's a great point, Gringo, especially when you look back in the 50s, like doctors used to prescribe cocaine if you was having depression in the 40s and 50s. So how many baseball players we know from back then that was depressed was being prescribed cocaine and they was mixing it with caffeine? Come on. So as a great point that you say. But fellas, I hate to cut it short just because I got to dip out. It's past 12 o'clock. If you guys are free next week, I want to say Thursday because on Wednesday we're having on a guest. But if you're free Thursday after the first couple of postseason games and the first round of the wild card games with the Mets, let me know. I would love to have you guys back on so we could talk about the postseason.
Speaking of that, we'll be at Game 2 for the trivia. Game 2 of the DS for the Yankees. So stay tuned for that. We'll be at Citi Field on Saturday for their Game 2 of their wild card series. So Cashing Out NYC, check us out. If you know your trivia, you better know it.
Yeah, but
come out, show out.
Whenever you guys decide to have like a trivia for like Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, call me. Let me know because I'm a big MMPR fan. So just let me know and I'll have all the answers ready for y'all.
Perfect.
I appreciate you guys. Make sure you guys follow Cashing Out NYC on all social medias. Let them know it's on IG. It's with 2 C's for NYC, right? It's 2 C's, right?
Correct.
Yeah,
correct.
because the first account got banned because Gringo was going crazy with the
I was adding anyone and everyone. Instagram said, no, that's not happening today.
Listen, I know how it is, bro. Trust me, because when you got 0 followers at the beginning, you following everybody, you get banned in 20 minutes. Trust me, I've done the same thing.
Yeah.
But appreciate y'all, fellas. Y'all take care. Enjoy the rest of your day.
All right. Thank you. You too.
Thank you.
Peace. That's the guys from Cashing Out NYC. But let me just touch on to the chat before we dip out. Eric Wallace, my man, salute, 3 capital S's. Michael Caputo is in the building. Capoots, like I said, Caputi, what are you doing? Capoots, I'll have the open panel. I'm going to save that for next week. So next week, Friday, we're going to have the open panel, right? So make sure you're around for next week, Friday, so we can talk about the whole week when it comes to the postseason, the wild card, et cetera. But as well, my man Tats, I can't wait to see you Friday. If we could get Pete on the round table, I think that would be phenomenal. Myself, Tat, Jason from 161 River Ave, my man Celso as well. If we could get Pete on that round table, I think that would be phenomenal. Logan Howell was in the building. Logan, what it do, baby? What it do? But as well, I have my man Dr. DiCatrio in the building. Salute. Eroy, what it do? First time seeing you in the chat. My man Steve Schumann is in the building. If you guys don't remember, Steve came on a week or so ago. Steve, very knowledgeable of the game. He actually one of those Yankee fans that actually saw Mickey Mantle and Roger Maris play. So we always have to get a firsthand perspective when it comes to anything that has to do with history. But my guys, Mikey Mazin, a 4-Train Express, James Cook, what it do? So many that showed up to the chat. I totally appreciate everybody. It was a great episode, great conversation. I am your guy, Hector, Project Nerd HQ, host of the Yankees Morning Brew. Make sure you tune in tomorrow. And we out. Peace.